We, the Sano, are super happy to offer the Bible's answer to each question in this article. The Book of Job can help you when you give counsel. Theme text: Now, Job, please hear my words. Job 33, verse 1. Focus: how the Book of Job teaches us to give effective counsel. Questions 1 and 2. What challenge do Job's three companions and Elihu face? The Bible's answer. We see that Job's companions and Elihu faced the delicate challenge of comforting and correcting a deeply suffering man without misrepresenting Jehovah or crushing Job's spirit. Their words and tone would reveal whether they were truly motivated by love and concern for Job's welfare, according to Job 2, verse 12, 13. Question 3. What will we now focus on? The Bible's answer. A key benefit that we can gain from the Book of Job is how it can help us when we need to give counsel. First, we will consider the bad examples of Job's three companions. Then, we will discuss the good example of Elihu. In each case, we will learn how the Israelites could have benefited from the Book of Job and how we can benefit from it today. We are helped to focus on learning from both poor and good examples of counsel so that we can avoid harmful approaches and imitate those that reflect Jehovah's thinking and compassion, based on 2 Timothy 3 verse 16. How Job's three companions counseled him. Question 4. Why did Job's three companions fail to achieve their objective? The Bible's answer. We learn that they failed because they jumped to conclusions, spoke harshly, and became more interested in proving Job wrong than in strengthening him, which teaches us how easily counsel can harm when it lacks empathy and truth, according to Job 42, verses 7, 8. Question 5. What resulted from the counsel that Job's companions gave? The Bible's answer. We observe that their words crushed Job emotionally and pushed him toward unbalanced thinking, reminding us that unloving counsel can worsen suffering and even serve Satan's purpose, based on Job 19, verse 2 and Job 2, verse 4. Question 6. What could the elders in Israel have learned from the bad example of Job's three companions? The Bible's answer. We understand that Israelite elders could have learned to listen carefully, investigate matters thoroughly, and avoid harsh speech so as to strengthen rather than discourage those seeking help, according to Deuteronomy 19 verse 18. Question 7. Besides the elders in Israel, who could give counsel, and how could they have benefited from the account of Job? The Bible's answer. We see that all Israelites could give counsel and that Job's account helped them learn what not to say and how sincere advice should refresh and strengthen a friend, according to Proverbs 27 verse 9. Question 8. What pitfalls do we need to avoid when giving counsel? The Bible's answer. We are reminded to avoid assumptions, relying on personal opinions, or speaking harshly, and instead base our counsel firmly on God's word and express it with love so that it builds faith and trust in Jehovah, according to Job 42, verse 7. How Elihu counseled Job. Question 9. Explain why Job needed help after his companions stopped talking and how Jehovah provided it. The Bible's answer. We recognize that Job still needed comfort and correction, and Jehovah lovingly provided it through Elihu, who listened patiently and spoke at the right time, showing us that Jehovah always supplies help when it is truly needed, based on Job 32, verse 9. Question 10. What did Elihu do before he offered Job counsel? The Bible's answer. We appreciate that Elihu first controlled his emotions, reassured Job of his humility, and demonstrated careful listening, teaching us that effective counsel begins with calmness, empathy, and respect, according to Job 33, verses 6, 7. Question 11. How did Elihu counsel Job? Job 33, verse 1. The Bible's answer. We can feel encouraged by how respectfully and warmly Elihu addressed Job, using his name and inviting him to respond, which showed genuine concern and dignity. By calmly warning Job about flawed reasoning while highlighting Jehovah's wisdom, justice, and loyal love, Elihu helped Job prepare his heart to accept further guidance from Jehovah himself, according to Job 33, verse 1. Question 12. How did Jehovah use prophets to help his people, and how could the Israelites have benefited from Elihu's good example? The Bible's answer. We learn that Jehovah lovingly used prophets to guide, correct, and strengthen his people, providing timely counsel that restored hope and spiritual balance. By reflecting on Elihu's example, the Israelites could learn not only what to say but also how to say it, with empathy, patience, and respect, when helping others stay close to Jehovah, as described in Judges 4 verses 4-7. Question 13. How can Christians today encourage fellow worshipers? The Bible's answer. We are reminded that we can encourage one another by speaking words that build up, comfort, and strengthen faith, especially during moments of emotional distress. When our counsel is gentle and rooted in God's Word, it helps fellow worshipers feel supported and understood, according to 1 Corinthians 14 verse 3. Questions 14 and 15. Illustrate how an elder can imitate Elihu when giving counsel. The Bible's answer. We see that an elder can imitate Elihu by listening patiently, seeking to understand the root of a person's pain, and offering sincere commendation before giving scriptural encouragement. By using the Bible to reassure others of Jehovah's love and personal value, elders can restore confidence and hope in a compassionate and effective way, according to Galatians 2 verse 20. Continue to benefit from the Book of Job. Question 16. How can we continue to benefit from the Book of Job? The Bible's answer. We can continue to benefit by regularly reviewing the Book of Job, allowing its lessons to shape how we endure trials and how we give counsel to others. By imitating Elihu's loving approach and avoiding the mistakes of Job's companions, we grow in wisdom and compassion, strengthening our service to Jehovah, according to Job 34, verse 12. By way of review, how would you answer? Question 1. What did you learn from Job's 3 companions regarding what to avoid when giving counsel? The Bible's answer. We learn that we must avoid jumping to conclusions, speaking harshly, or assuming we fully understand another person's situation when giving counsel. Job's companions caused harm because their words lacked empathy and misrepresented Jehovah's thinking, teaching us that counsel without compassion can deepen pain rather than heal it, according to Job 19, verse 2, and Proverbs 12, verse 18. Question 2. How did Elihu show wisdom when he offered Job counsel? The Bible's answer. We are encouraged by Elihu's wisdom because he listened patiently, spoke respectfully, and created a calm, dignifying atmosphere before offering correction. By focusing on Jehovah's justice, power, and loyal love rather than attacking Job personally, Elihu showed how counsel can both correct and comfort, based on Job 33, verses 6, 7, and Job 36, verse 22. Question 3. How can we continue to benefit from the Book of Job? The Bible's answer. We continue to benefit by regularly meditating on Job's account, which helps us endure suffering, accept correction humbly, and give loving, effective counsel to others. This inspired book reassures us that Jehovah is never unjust and that endurance strengthens our faith and hope, according to Job 34, verse 12, and James 5, verse 11. Source: Daddy, Mommy, Doniani, and Coletany.